All right, everyone. Miss Hillary Clinton would like you to remember that she was relevant once and is still trying to inject herself into the public debate. Feebly, it's not going to work, and the meme site that she is now saying, "Oh, I proudly joined Verrit," and it's a shit show, and I can tell you why it's a shit show. Here you have yet another attempt by the left to develop a very standard, easily controlled, censored site that they hope will become like a political juggernaut. It won't work. Chaos works. Right now we're in a chaotic period. You need chaotic brainstorming. You need more than a brainstorm, you need a brain hurricane. That's what happened during the election with people who were on variously the alt or new right. That's what happened with them. They took advantage of social media in order to promulgate messages that were fun, they were inventive, some of them displayed irreducible levels of complexity while still getting across an emotional or social point. Pepe is an example of this. Matt Fury, by the way, in developing that frog, did quite well. I think he just sued somebody for using the image of Pepe in a children's book. It was The Adventures of Pepe and Pete or something. And now the person, they have to give all the book sales to like some pro-Islamic group, which is, that's funny. It is his intellectual property, so I'm not too offended by that fact. It is funny though. It's almost a meme in and of itself how Fury has acted on that token. But Clinton still doesn't realize, I think, what year it is. It's not the 1990s anymore. This sort of centralized control won't work, because I'll tell you what'll happen with a site like Verrit. I'll tell you exactly what'll happen. People who fundamentally agree with her, they are neoliberals, will submit material there. It'll get rejected variously because it wasn't fully accurate, it was too mean-spirited, or something else under the sun, or just wasn't the time that they wanted to talk about some issue. When that happens, people will slowly trickle back out. It'll become a living meme. What'll happen is a bunch of people sign up, they start spitting in material. A lot of them quickly migrate back out because there's no place for the material they themselves want to push. You gotta remember, even die-hard neoliberals like Democratic partisans don't necessarily agree with 100% of what the Clintonians themselves believe in. If Clinton's joining a platform, they're going to be under immense pressure to sway everything in the direction of Clintonian-style, 90s-esque neoliberalism. They had an image there. Bernie Sanders, 12% of Bernie Sanders voters voted for Donald Trump. Now, that's a true fact. But unfortunately, what's going to happen is that all those Bernie fans, they're going to see that image. It's going to get spread around to them. They're on the Democratic and left-wing pages. They're going to see it shared there. And then they'll be like, what the fuck? Why should I support this side? It's bad-mouth. Once again, it's Clinton bad-mouthing Bernie Sanders saying, oh, basically, he was the reason I lost. Another deflection. Now, that may or may not be the case, but that's the way it's going to be taken. Which means all those progressives that you're trying to get on board with the DNC, you've got Tom Perez in charge. Clinton's still technically the most visible Democrat of all. You're sitting there rambling about wanting people like Mark Zuckerberg and Mark Cuban to run, you know, these extremely rich, very privileged individuals. And you want to get the Bernie voters back on board. Good fucking luck. Yeah, good. Maybe if you run Elizabeth Warren, it'd be really, really funny to see that. That would be a hilarious campaign. Warren versus Donald Trump. Like Warren, the one person that he would probably get more vicious towards than Hillary Clinton. Oh, it would be great. I almost hope that happens. I wouldn't even care who won, as long as it becomes a slugfest. It'd also be pretty easy to judge who was going to win such an election by a few months into it. It would probably become self-evident who had the upper hand. I think I'd put my money on Trump at that point, honestly. I'm still not seeing anybody within the left, really, other than maybe Sanders, that can challenge Donald Trump. But the neoliberals are in charge of the DNC. They already screwed Bernie Sanders once. He's going to be extremely old next time, or he's going to be almost 80. I don't think he's capable of doing it. Will he even be around in another 3.5 years? Who knows? But, yeah, politics has become a freak show, and Verrit is a freak show of a site, because it's fundamentally different from sites that are extremely not user-friendly, but user-oriented. Like, you go to 4chan, or even like Reddit or something. There's moderation there, yeah, of a sort, but most of it is just private individuals interacting with each other. Something then can become very mimetic. It can go viral very, very easily. It's like old wave YouTube. The big advantage that these sites that are so decentralized in their control, they're very bottom up, the big advantage that they have is the same advantage YouTube had 10 years ago, when it was still technically competing with a half a dozen other sites. It's the same advantage early, like pre-timeline Facebook had. Very, very user-oriented. Good ideas can easily take hold in such an atmosphere. But if you've got a top-down system of control, if everything is being micromanaged and moderated, a lot of people will simply flee the platform. That would be a warning to alt tech. Never go top-down. Don't do it. It's like I would issue a warning even at this point. I would even say this to BitChute. Don't spit out a bunch of political factoids on your Twitter page. Take a hands-off approach. Let the user base do that. Because, I mean, it's already self-evident. Who do you think is joining BitChute? It's people that are going to agree with those messages, yes, but you don't want to piss off other groups of people that might want to join. They've got ideas too. You got to let them have their free speech. You can't make them feel alienated. It's no different. If a site like BitChute decides to post a bunch of libertarian and vaguely right-wing material, you're kind of doing the same thing that YouTube does now on its Twitter handle, which is, oh, here's a transgendered 10-year-old, and there's painting with menstrual blood and stuff like that, which they've pushed before. And that gets, like, the moralists hot under the collar. You're going to get, like people who are vaguely left-leaning hot under the collar. Like, even the alienated progressives, there are millions of them. They're going to be censored, too. They're going to need a new home. You don't want them to create their own. You want to be a home for all groups of people and just be about freedom and just say, hey, we're not censoring stuff. That's all you want to do. A site like Verrit, it's very funny that the sort of tagline of their main proponent, which is Hillary Clinton, is, oh, it's a platform for the 50-something million. Why not a platform for everybody? See, there's the problem. You've already limited yourself. You've made it very clear this is a platform for people who agree with Miss Hillary Clinton, basically. This is a platform for the minority of the American public specifically who are interested in neoliberal politics. What a wonderful idea. Okay, you've got an echo chamber that you've just built. You've already got an echo chamber like that on Facebook, largely. You've already got an echo chamber on most parts of Twitter, for the most part. You've already got an echo chamber on large swaths of Reddit. You've got enough echo chambers, and they're all more user-friendly than this site is. This site is very limited and explicitly top-down in its control method. It's not going to go anywhere. I don't expect that I'll see many of these Verrit verified infographics during the midterms or during the 2020 election. I don't think I'll encounter many of them. Not because I'm in an echo chamber. Hell, I follow Salon Being Liberal, Slate, and a bunch of others like on Facebook, if only for trolling reasons. Nobody's going to be posting those graphics. A few months from now, people have forgotten the site exists. Half the user base will be gone, probably. It'll devolve into an echo chamber. It won't be for the 50-something million. It'll be for a small sliver of them anyway, because some of them will see stuff there that they disagree with. The problem within politics, this is a problem for political parties too. When you have to take positions on various issues, you end up alienating small chunks of the population, but if you take enough positions, you alienate the majority of the population, even those that would naturally be inclined to vote for you. That's why you've got to keep it simple. You have to think big picture, and you have to think about big issues. If you delve into minutia, or if you artificially limit yourself just to one important thing and then browbeat people all day, as Clinton did with the glass ceiling bullshit, then you have problems. You have to develop a sane platform. Democratic Party didn't do that in the last election. Their platform was, hey, Clinton is a woman and Trump is scary. That's our platform. Tax plan? What tax plan? Economic plan? What are you talking about? TPP? Oh, Clinton was against it. Now she's for it. Now she's against it again. Who the fucking knows? That's the problem. The Democratic Party is not going to recover until it addresses that core fundamental issue. We'll see if they do. I think it would be fine. I wouldn't even spurn the Democratic Party if they had sane people in leadership and a sane platform. They have neither right now. That's the problem. The Republicans, they have a half-assed platform at best and somebody who's constantly strangulated by his own legislature in Donald Trump. And yet they're the stronger party. They're the more sane party. Would you ever imagine that we would have this weird scenario It's like there was a time early on when Obama was preferable to like a McCain or something like that. Now he sold out very quickly. Within a year it was clear he wasn't going to do most of the shit that he wanted to do, and was just going to be a neoliberal. But for a while it was preferable, which is, again, in retrospect, quite something, looking at his second term, certainly. No, Verrit will fail at its goal of pushing propaganda, which is exactly what it is. They're trying to crowdsource ideas and then pick and choose those that they find most effective on a propaganda level. Who runs this site? Is it David Brock or somebody like that? Thought the DNC decided to tell him to go screw himself because he wasn't being helpful, because he was making him look bad. So who's actually, is this a ShareBlue linked site or something like that? Is it linked to those people that Obama hired by the thousands to go shitpost on the internet or something like that? See, that's all very centralized. The right has an advantage. It's not centralized. Yeah, there are groups that like work for the Republicans. Their staffers get together and they go edit a Wikipedia article or something. Everybody sort of does that. Other states do that too. Russia does this all the time. It's the decentralized flow of information that's more powerful. We've begun to see the democratization of the internet. Now that's good and bad. Hopefully it leads to, hey, we want to keep it that way. We want to keep it chaotic, so we need to support liberty first and foremost. Otherwise, it can't be like that. It'll be more restricted. If that happens, great. We're about to enter a golden era of human philosophy. Pitchfork-waving crowds online aside, trolling raids aside. Otherwise, it's going to be a difficult time. You're going to have to develop another internet. As we see with Gab, which I don't know if I'll address that. I'll talk about it a little bit in my next video, I guess, because it involves Gab. Having to remove a post by Anglin. Well, I took a look at it, and a lot of people are pushing the line of, oh, well, they've fallen to pro-censorship. No, it was their domain registrar leaning on them in a legal sense to remove the post. That is, they're pissed off about it too. But I'll speak more about that in the next video. That's about all. Peace out.